here.
Can Mike find a hand to keep? And it looks like maybe the answer is yes.
I'm very active on the Haagen-Dazs forums, though.
Ice cream, right?
Yes, that is. And I'm actually kidding. That's not the case, but I should be. I should be.
A cloud from Raptor to begin things. If Haagen-Dazs has forums.
I'm going to go check it out after this.
See what Mike has for his second turn. At least has a second land before passing the turn back.
The chocolate chip cookie dough does not have enough chocolate chips in it. I quit.
Tidebinder Mage here for Ross. Time to evolve. And looks like Boblight's going to take care of that. So Sigrist is going to take a land here. And a Lifebane Zombie. Here's the Grip, Master ×2, Tidebinder, and a Nightfall Spectre. So actually, Merriam is the one who needs to draw a land here. Even though he does have something to do in the meantime.
Absolutely. And this is one of the reasons that Mike still has a shot, even though he's on 5 cards. I know if we were talking 8 months ago, this would be one of those, yeah, duh moments. But Pack-Rat is really good against Mono Blue Devotion, and Ross is not flush with answers.
Yeah. Merriam did not draw a land. I think the draw was a Thassa, which, to be fair, is still quite good, but he can't cast it this turn.
Thassa, yeah, if he's able to find a 3rd land, that means he can play Thassa, which probably leads him to his 4th land very quickly.
Looks like Sigrist was maybe consider blocking there, but he just says, all right, that's fine. I think he's just hoping that Merriam doesn't draw land. Okay, so the draw was actually a cloud from the Raptor. Mike will take a draw here. Hero's Downfall, another land, and a mystery card. He's shuffling through his cards pretty quickly right now. He's going to start by attacking for 3. Merriam's going to go down to 17. Desecration even would be absurd right now, but it is not what he has.
Pack-Rat would also be very good, of course.
Yeah. Hero's Downfall is still pretty good. Merriam going to play Tidebinder Mage. Evolution. It looks to be complete. Here's an attack for 3. I wonder if Sigrist wants to fire off a Hero's Downfall that he has.
It's got to be really tempting, right? Because if you're Mike, you got to figure my best shot of winning this game involves Ross just missing his 3rd land drop for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't think you can save this for like a Master of Waves. You know, it's just hopefully he doesn't draw any lands, and I can just kill him really quickly.
Right.
Maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. I'm not sure. I'm gonna fire this Hero's Downfall there. Sigrist gonna take a draw here after untapping. I mean, it looks like he may have picked up a Thoughtseize, and he does. Now you get to take a look at the Grip. There's the 2 Masters, a Nightfall Spectre, and a Rapid Hybridization. Rapid Hybrid's actually pretty good.
Well, I think the last card in Sigrist's hand is Duress, so it does have a target for this main deck Duress.
Okay. Now the race is officially on.
And Mike has a game plan here. If he's able to draw removal spells and Ross just doesn't make his land drops, he's got a real good shot of winning this game even on 5 cards.
Merriam just has to draw and pass the turn back. Sigrist, you see the light total is 12 to 14. This is maybe connections. All right. Activate this maybe now, maybe later, maybe now.
I think he wants to activate it now. He has Scrylands and Mutavaults in his deck, so.
11, attack, tie it up. It's 11 all. Merriam will untap. He'll take a draw. There's an island. There's Nightfall Spectre. Trigger Evolve. In for 4 we go.
So some pretty good back-to-back draws there from Ross.
Hero's Downfall. Pretty nice draw for Sigrist. That was what he found off the connections. Interesting stuff here between these 2 players. Working on mulligans, but actually still able to play. A mulligan to 5 here. That's hurt Mike a little bit, but he's been able to play an actual game of Magic here.
Well, Ross has effectively been on 4 with these 2 Masters stranded in his hand for the whole game. And now with 2 flyers, we've reached the point where it doesn't even feel like Pack-Rat's enough to catch Mike up. It's just got to be removal spells. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately for Mike, from here, Ross is either drawing a land, which enables the Masters, or a spell that he can presumably cast. Only additional Masters and Biden are a dead draw for Ross from here.
The other card in Sigrist's hand right now is a Desecration Demon. I think he's trying to figure out how much of an effect that has on the game. Am I supposed to pump the brakes here with the Lifebane Zombie? Can I win if I pump the brakes to the Lifebane Zombie?
I think he's just got to attack.
If I attack, does it trade with the Nightfall Spectre? I think there are a lot of decisions here. Are you happy trading with the Nightfall Spectre?
I think so. If he can trade resources, that gives him more time to leverage his Underworld connections.
Sure.
So I think Mike is definitely in the market to trade. But I feel like Tidebinder Mage is just too low quality to trade with from here.
All right, there's Deso Demon. I feel like he's going to hold back now. I think he's just hoping that Merriam doesn't draw a land. But now it seems like, all of Ross's drives are live. Like, if it's not a land, it's probably a spell he can cast, unless it's just another copy of Master of Waves.
Yep.
Because he doesn't have a ton of 4-mana spells in his deck. He has got a Biden of Thassa, and then 2 more Masters as far as bad draws go. So it looks like we're going to put Desecration Demon's Trigger on the stack. All right, in we go. Gonna trigger this. You got like this. He's looking for a land. Gray Merchants.
Not quite.
Yeah.
Although that's still, I guess you're happy with Mike not having that. Although Mike is without a 5th mana, so.
Yeah. There's Gale Rider Sliver. Gonna pass the turn back. Sigrist at 3, Merriam at 11. Sigrist gonna draw a card again. You see Hero's Downfall over there. Looks like maybe Mutavault was the draw. I'm not too sure. Again, he does flick those cards back and forth pretty quickly. Trying to figure out how much Hero's Downfall does for us here.
Does quite a bit, it feels like. If Ross goes ahead and makes an alpha attack into that Desecration Demon, or taps and then attacks with the leftovers, then Hero's Downfall buys a lot. Not a lot to be gained by holding the Lifebane Zombie back on defense at this point. There's nothing for it to block, so that's a free attack.
It looks like Mike's not. I don't think he's ever going to be able to activate the Underworld Connections again. That's just kind of locked out. Something that can provide devotion. That's really about it.
Yeah.
So let's see if he comes. Yeah, he's going to put the Demon Trigger on the stack. I do not think Ross is going to be sacrificing anything. But again, the other thing too, even though I say that, and you can see Ross right now, it's really easy to say, yeah, you just don't sack anything and whatever. He probably can't attack. But it's like if he takes a hit, and then there's a Gray Merchant, he's dead. Now, I guess the question you have to ask yourself is, can he beat a Gray Merchant? And I actually kind of think the answer is yes, because he has 2 Masters in his hand. And so if he was actually able to hit a land plus Master, I mean, maybe it's, it's kind of different, I guess.
Has to be a really specific 2-card hand for Mike here. Also, one of the Gray Merchants is down, which changes the odds slightly.
Yeah.
I don't think Ross can play around untapped land plus Gray Merchant here.
Yeah, I don't think so. Plus, with the combination of Lifebane hitting you, yeah, he actually can't play around it. So, and I think he finally figured that out now. So here comes an attack for 3, because again, I believe the Desecration Demon is just going to stay at home and force Merriam to sacrifice a creature to be able to attack through, and that's actually when the Hero's Downfall gets good.
Although if Ross draws a land, he can play Master of Waves and then use one of the tokens to attack the demon. If Ross draws a creature, he can cast the creature and just sack that. And in either case, 1 removal spell is not enough to keep Mike alive.
Well, let's see what Ross finds. It's a Frostburn Weird. He's going to play that. He's going to evolve his Cloudfin Raptor up to a 3/4.
And this is exactly the sequence. I don't think Mike can get out of this with just 1 removal spell.
Well, it looks like he might try to draw a card now. Going to go down to 2. I don't think this can help him anyway. He says, just a second. Again, the last card there in Mike's hand is a Hero's Downfall. So he's going to go down to 2. Try to find something that helps. That may have been a copy of Bile-Blight, but that doesn't change anything.
You can still only cast 1 removal spell this turn. Yeah, Ross did not have a lot of misses in his deck from this spot. It was basically just Biden, I think.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, what's the worst card he can draw. I actually think it is a 1-outer in Biden.
Yeah.
Because even a Hall of Triumph is good right now.
Yeah, that still generates lethal.
Yeah.
So Ross was on the reverse top deck that turn, I think.
1 bad draw. Everything else would have gotten it done. 2 Masters.
Yeah, 2 more Masters.
2 Masters in Biden. 3 bad draws.
Although now, with Mike drawing a card here, Ross has to still play around 2 removal spells. He could get hit by, say, Devour Flesh plus Bile-Blight, and now the attack fails again. So
that's what actually that makes this really pretty compelling. Merriam's going to now move all in, it looks like here. And he's going to. It's just, it's so easy for us here to be like, yeah, he's dead. Just kill him or whatever. But it's like, what if he has Devour Flesh on his own Desecration Demon? How does that affect things? Can I still win? He's got to take a lot of things, into account before he just goes, sacrifice my Frostman Weird, tap your demon, try to kill you. Yeah. It's not that easy.
No, it is not that easy. But his hand doesn't really give him that much more of a line of attack from that spot.
Yeah.
So Ross up a game there, but pretty tight given that Mike mulliganed to 5.
Take a look at the sideboards here. You've got mics in front of you, so I'll let you begin.
A Whip of Erebos, a Bile Blight, a Pithy Needle, a Read the Bones, a Frigga's Cure, a Drown in Sorrow, 2 Dark Betrayal, 2 Erebos, God of the Dead, 2 Doom Blades, and 3 Duresses. I think he's just going to want to bring in more removal spells. The 2 copies of Doom Blade and the Bile Blight. I'm not sure. I doubt he's going to want Duress in this matchup. It seems pretty low impact. Not a lot of spells in Ross's deck. I think that Drown in Sorrow is a tough card to use against Mono Blue Devotion as well. I've seen it have its spots of being good, but it is not the easiest card to enable, and Mono Blue Devotion is flush with a lot of 3 and 4 toughness creatures as well. So maybe he'll want to bring that in, but no guarantee that card's going to be good even if he draws it.
1 Dispel, 2 Gainsay, 2 Negate, 2 Dissolve, a Rapid Hybridization, a Claustrophobia, 2 copies of Domestication, a Biden of Thassa, 2 Jace Architect of Thought, and a Jace Memory Adept is what Merriam is going to be looking at here. Now, one thing I know about Ross, I streamed Mono Blue Devotion a little bit. It feels like a couple months ago at this point. Ross was kind of hanging out in the stream, in the chats, kind of really just telling me what I was doing wrong. I was playing against Mono Black Devotion a lot. This was Mono Black was at like the height of its popularity. And for whatever reason, I just really couldn't figure out the best way to go about the matchup, what the best way to sideboard was. And, you know, that kind of brings this full circle now of I see all these options. And it's like, I can make an argument for a lot of these cards. You know, Negate, the deck has a lot of spells. Domestication seems kind of bad, but domesticating a Lifebane Zombie is not bad. Taking a Pack Rat's not bad. There's a situation where you can take Desecration Demon just to get it out of the way. Because Domestication triggers at the end of the turn. So I have seen Ross do that before. He's got 2 of those in his sideboard. You know, he doesn't know if Mike has Nightfall Specters to take with Domestication. So Domestication actually has some utility here. Claustrophobia is pretty good.
Yep.
So you got to like that card, you know, but it's only good against certain cards. It's obviously bad against Pack Rat, but it's good against Demon and it's good against Lifebane Zombie. It would be good against Nightfall Spectre if those existed. You know, how long of a game do you want to play with Jace Architect of Thought and Jace Memory Adept? So I actually find it really interesting to watch players sideboard against this deck because just how my brain works, it's really strange and backwards. Nothing here is just like, oh yeah, it's there to be black, duh.
Yeah, it just depends. Does Ross want to try to outgrind the Mono Black Devotion deck, or does he want to keep basically a tempo game plan as the way he's trying to win the game?
Yeah.
In my opinion, I like the second rat a lot better. I'm not a huge fan of trying to overload with card advantage and 4-drop cards because I just don't think Mono Blue is very well suited to play that sort of game against a deck that's flush with removal spells.
And truthfully, I think it changes on if you're on the play or if you're on the draw.
That has to be a factor too.
You know, Merriam's on the draw this game, so maybe he might want to slow down a little bit and try to interact more. But he's on the play. I feel like when you're Mono Blue against Mono Black, you just want to bum rush him.
Yeah.
And try to kill him as fast as they can, and hopefully their cards don't line up appropriately, and you can just be the aggressor and be the tempo deck. We'll see which route he wants to take here, but I know he's been playing this deck for a while. He played this deck a lot during the standard PTQ season, so I imagine that he knows how to go about doing this. And I know that the matches that he's played over the course of the week, and he's played against 5 green mid-range decks. He's played against 2 Mono Black Devotion decks already. This is his 3rd one. He's beaten both the black decks. His loss is to a green mid-range deck.
In my experience, you know, of course, Mono Red Aggro and Mono Blue Devotion have their differences, but it almost doesn't matter what you're casting as long as you're casting stuff on time.
Yeah.
You have a good shot at beating Mono Black. But if you stumble or you just don't have a play until turn 3 or what have you, those are the games where Mono Black's going to beat you with almost any hand.
Well, it seems like things are going to be on time here for Merriam. Sigrist is going to lay out the hand. There's 2 copies of Nightfall Spectre. There are 2 copies of Frostburn Word. You see the 2 islands and then a Thassa. So if you're Ross, you're looking for a 3rd land, or you're looking for a 1-drop right now, and then a 3rd land. So he thought he's going to take care of Thassa, which is arguably the best card in the hand.
It is the hardest card in the entire deck for Mono Black to beat while it's on the board, and nothing else in Ross's hand is that integral.
You wanted a 1-drop, you found one. Cloudfin Raptor, that's step 1. Now he needs a 3rd land.
But even still, just kind of casting these creatures without one of his big payoff cards is, it's going to be tough to win the game like this.
Merriam takes a draw. I think they may have just drawn a copy of Master of Waves. So now there's Frostmourne in response. Going to cast Devour Flesh to get the Raptor off the board.
So that drawing that Cloudfin Raptor that turn, even if the Raptor doesn't do anything really, just dies, it just sets the whole pacing of the game off for Mike.
That's huge. It's absolutely huge. There's another Thoughtseize. You see the Master of Waves that's been added. Frostburn Weird, 2 copies of Nightveil Spectre. Sigrist's going to just play a Swamp past the turn back. He does have a Bile Blight in the hand. Does not look like Merriam was able to draw a land here. Some more mana troubles. He's going to spin and spin again. Will Bile Blight be cast? So Sigrist is giving it consideration, and the answer is yes. He wants to keep that board clear. Sigrist just going to draw, play a swamp, pass the turn back. Domestication's the draw from Merriam. He's going to pass the turn back. And now things could get really difficult.
Yeah, that's the draw that Ross was really hoping to avoid there. Now he's under the gun.
And this is exactly what you talked about, playing things on time. Nightfall Spectre is very late to the party.
Yeah.
Desecration Demon's going to come in for 6. Merriam's going to go down to 14. Yeah, now Mike's able to turn the corner in a big way. This puts all the pressure on Ross to catch up. And one thing about Mono Blue Devotion, it's not a great defensive deck, trying to catch back up, but it's also just not great defensively in the air. I think that's the big thing. It's pretty good defensively on the ground because of Master of Waves.
Yeah.
You see Drown in Sorrow, the card that's revealed from Nightfall Spectre. Merriam just has to pass the turn back.
And if Ross is able to find a land there, he can deploy Master of Waves. Mike with no removal spell, and so the tokens could have kept that Desecration Demon pinned down for a really long time.
Yep.
Instead, Ross has to use a Rapid Hybridization here, which is still fine for Ross, but not quite as good as deploying Master of Waves would have been.
So Frog Lizard for Sigrist, and now replacement Desecration Demon. That was a pretty big draw there. Merriam's going to take a draw step here. It's a Frostburn Weird. He has not found the 4th land for Master of Waves, and it seemed like this was the critical turn to hit it, I think.
Yeah, because now he has to play a creature before combat if he wants to tap down the Desecration Demon. He dies on the way back, and he can't afford to take that many more shots, so that was a really big swing there, missing that land drop.
Frostburn Weird going to come into play here for Merriam. He just passes the turn back over to Sigrist, who has a Swamp and a Mystery card right now. He's got those hands moving quickly. He's going to slow down a little bit here, try to figure out what the best attack is.
Depends if he draws, of course, drawing the removal spell right here for Mike is a big thing, if he's able to find it. Looks like he's picked a Pack Rat, which is also not bad in this spot.
Which way do we go? It looks like everybody in the red zone. Well, there are your blocks. Pretty straightforward. And I like the fact that Ross doesn't sacrifice anything here, so because his devotion's so important that if he draws a 4th land for Master, now it doesn't look like that's the case, but he could try.
He's still got a shot. If he finds a land here and Mike misses on a removal spell, that Master gave him a shot. Now I think that Ross is too far behind. This Pack Rat dooms him too.
And he's going to pack it up and now. So Mike Sigrist is going to tie it up here between him and Ross Merriam. Mono Black Devotion, Mono Blue Devotion, a blast from the past, headed to game 3.
Mono Blue especially.
Yeah.
This deck's been off the radar for a long time. And Mike, even though we've seen a lot of Mono Black Devotion, lately it's been with the green splash, which is a splash that I've not always been a huge believer in. So it's nice to see Mike perform well with this list, even if it's just for my own affirmation.
I'm okay with it. The thing about the green splash is I understand it.
It's a great week 1 deck.
Yeah.
I think as people become more informed, it gets a lot worse.
What I found really interesting about it being a week 1 deck and doing so well, week 1, Intention winning in Cincinnati, beating Real in the finals when he was playing blue-white, it's almost like with all the talk of the new cards that were coming out from Journey to Nyx, and then talking about the new decks to build, no one really talked about, oh yeah, you just put, these abrupt decays, and people were trying green-black before when there wasn't a green-black temple, and this is pretty straightforward. This is something that people tried and failed with because there was no temple. Now there is a temple. We do these things that we want to do before, and let's see how good it is. And that's all that happened.
And Abrupt Decay is just a very good Magic card, and so dramatically improves the Esper matchup and the blue-white matchup that it makes perfect sense.
It was kind of laughable just how obvious it was, but no one was really talking about it. And then when it won, it was like, whoa, that deck looks really good.
Yeah. And we've seen all these cards before. They're really good. And then the deck that was still fine with people playing all sorts of garbage to try to cast Abrupt Decay now just gets to play Overgrown Tomb and a Temple.
Yeah, just so straightforward. Now, what really interests me here is that, again, you mentioned you're not the biggest fan of the green splash, but I always like just trying to figure out if you're supposed to splash any colors or if you're supposed to just be straight up 18 swamps, couple of temples, 4 mutavaults, and that's how you go to work, because we've seen great players like Owen Turnwald have success doing that and not splashing.
There's so much power in the mono black skeleton that I feel like you need a huge justification to want to splash and play other cards, because you're engendering some amount of inconsistency. Now again, I think week 1 of this standard format, Abrupt Decay was worth the cost.
Sure.
Because every deck was Detention Sphere or Domri. That was all that was going on. As people have become more informed about Abrupt Decay, not only in that deck, but just in Jund Monsters and Junk variety of decks, people are starting to build with that card in mind. And I think it's less worthwhile to go out of your way to splash. If you're playing a green-black deck already, of course, play 3 or 4 Abrupt Decays, but the opportunity cost in my mind has gone up a lot because it's not quite as effective of a tool as it used to be, say, a month ago.
Well, game 3 will be underway in just a bit here, my friends. If you're just joining us, Edward Phillips, Patrick Sullivan. It's our team's Open Series here in Providence, Rhode Island. Round 10 of 10. These two fantastic players are sitting in 7th and 8th place. They were unable to draw. And so they have to duke it out here. I actually kind of expected both of them to make the top 8. They were sitting next to each other before actually this round. They were just kind of hanging out on the side tables. They, of course, know each other due to both being from the area and PTQs and all of that good stuff. And, they kind of had the body language of, oh, we're both 8-1. We get to draw. It's going to be sweet. We'll be playing later at night. And then, the pairings go up and they see what place they're in. And like,
never mind.
Yeah, this kind of stinks. But I've been playing tournament match for a while. You've been there before. Cloudfin Raptor to start things off here for Merriam.
And this is the draw, the one drop. I think on the play, you'd rather have Judges Familiar, but this is still...
Well, oddly enough, he has one.
Okay, never mind.
Judge Familiar is going to come into play. It's going to evolve the Cloudfin Raptor, into a 1-2. But more importantly, Judge's Familiar messes things up. You see the Doomblade over there.
There's a lot of 2- and 3-mana spells in Mono Black Devotion. Judge's Familiar is a bit of a pain.
Sigrist's hand actually looks pretty good. He's got 2 Doomblades and a Bioblight over there to contain some of the problems. Merriam going to play an island here. Now a Frostburn Weird to evolve that Cloudfin Raptor, or at least attempt to.
And this all adds up to additional points of damage again. How important is Judge's Familiar here?
Way better than it looks. That's for sure. You see Sigrist starting to decide, am I supposed to cast Devour Flesh? Am I supposed to cast one of my 2 Doomblades? Am I supposed to cast Bioblight?
Devour Flesh comes with some risk because Ross can say, all right, I'll animate my Mutavault. Keep my Frostburn Weird.
Yeah, keep my Judge's Familiar too.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's going to do. All right, evolve, and we go for 3.
But Devour Flesh is only getting worse. So it makes sense for Sigrist to lead off with that card, even though, of course, this is not ideal.
Yeah, I got to agree. Like, you can't... It's only going to, as you mentioned, it's only going to get worse the way more that you go. Also, the fact that you're killing a land there might not be so bad, because he's, curving out really well. And so killing a Mutavault might not be so bad, because now you're a turn farther away from Master, which might be where you want to be. There's a Bioblight. Take care of that. You see him taking care of it on the main phase because he doesn't want to worry about rapid hybridization.
Yeah, on any sort of trick, there could be Negate in Ross's deck for all you know. Just better not to get too fancy.
This is an attack only for 2. Leads me to believe there's a spell to follow up, and it is. It's another copy of Frostburn Weird. Pass the turn back because Merriam does not have a 3rd land to play either. So now, Sigrist doesn't have to worry about a card like Thassa right now either.
Well, he still has to worry about it. Just
not on the board.
Yeah,
just not on the board yet. Not on the board yet.
Trust me, Mike is very worried about Thassa right now.
Mike looking at, again, at a couple copies of Doomblade, a couple of lands over there as well, and I believe a Lifebane Zombie. And I like the way that his hand is, and especially because now he's in 2 spells per turn range, which you gotta like.
Well, not quite, because he can't play 2 Doomblades this turn. Or he's trading a Doomblade with a Judge's Familiar.
Yeah, with the Judge's Familiar, which he might actually be okay with that exchange.
Yep.
He's gonna just fire the Doomblade off in the Frostburn Weird. In we go with the bird and the weird. How much damage is the question? It'll be very telling.
The following 2 players to the stage, please. Jim Davis and Jason Ellis.
I mean, he's not casting Night Veil Spectre, I guess, this turn, so just... And he can add Judge's Familiar safely to the table.
Yeah.
Because the Bioblight doesn't really matter.
There's another Familiar. And he's leaving up a mana, so this reeks of rapid hybridization. Potentially Dispel, though.
Yeah. It also could be worth a point of damage for Ross to bluff in this spot.
Fair. Doomblade. Merriam, Dispel.
Okay.
Follow-up, Lifebane Zombie. Grip, Night Veil Spectre. I like the way you played that turn.
Yeah, that was great.
It would be so easy just to cast Night Veil.
Yeah, this is much better.
Yeah. Given the way that Mike has been playing his turns around Judge's Familiar of main facing his removal, that allows Ross to actually get the most value with his Dispel.
Yeah. This is one of those games that happens against Mono Black. Sometimes they don't have any of their power cards or sources of card advantage. They have some removal, but you just kind of die to random stuff. Oh, boy.
A Domestication's not so bad. Merriam going to untap here, see if he's able to find the 4th land, either for his draw step or with the Night Veil Spectre. Might be just flyers. Yep, just flyers. In for 4. Trigger the Night Veil. There's the 4th land. Just comes into play tapped.
It'll play.
Yeah. I mean, he's not underneath any pressure right now, so it'll do just fine. Sigrist going to draw a card, and he's going to concede the game. Ross Merriam's going to win this match and likely going to be the #1 seed moving to the top 8. Mono Blue Devotion takes down Mono Black 2-1.
From out of nowhere, basically. And I brought this up earlier in the broadcast. Ross is a player who I don't really feel like he has a bias towards playing any sort of particular strategy or color or whatever. He just sort of analyzes the metagame, gets in his reps what he thinks is good, and then plays whatever. And Mono Blue Devotion has been receding in representation for months now. But given the way the metagame has shaped up for the last couple of months with a lot of, 3-color mid-range creature decks without access to Supreme Verdict or that aren't really that dense with removal, rising in popularity makes a lot of sense to dust off the Mono Blue Devotion deck.
I'm going to tell you what makes this really interesting now. We take a look at the top 8. I can tell you 4 decks that are in. We've got Mono Red, we know that. Jason Ellis.
Close to a Mono Red aggro.
Yeah.
Very close to a buy for Mono Blue.
Yep.
I say this as a Mono Red aggro player that's played a lot online. The matchup is in the, above 80% range for Mono Blue.
So we know that we have Mono Red. We know we have Mono Blue. We know Jason Ellis drew with Mono Black.
Also, I would imagine quite favorable for Mono Blue, though not nearly as good as the Mono Red matchup.
And now we know Jim Davis is playing Blue-White Control, no Planar Cleansing, no Banishing Light, no Detention Sphere, no Banishing Light,